Welcome back to the deep dive. We are looking at a story today that feels like it's ripped from a screenplay, but it is happening right now in real time, February 2026.
Yeah.
And honestly, the stakes are terrifyingly high. We are looking at a diplomatic standoff between the United States and South Africa that could literally determine who lives and who dies.
It is a massive situation. I mean, usually when we talk about diplomatic spats, we're talking about, tariffs on steel or maybe a recalled ambassador.
Sure.
But this time, the center of gravity isn't the State Department or the UN. It's basically one guy.
One guy with an X account.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. So I have a stack of sources here. We've got Al Jazeera, legal breakdowns from Snopes, some deep dives from The Guardian, and some breaking news from Drive Tesla Canada that just dropped.
Right.
We're going to piece this puzzle together. But let's start with the immediate crisis. What is actually happening right now?
The headline news is that U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a direct threat, an explicit threat to the South African government. He has promised to cut financial assistance to the country. And he's not threatening to cut like some cultural exchange program.
No.
He is targeting PEPFAR.
Okay, let's just pause there because for anyone who doesn't work in public health, can we just clarify what PEPFAR is? It's a massive acronym to just throw around.
Right. It stands for the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. It was actually started by George W. Bush. Essentially, it is the financial backbone of South Africa's entire HIV/AIDS response.
The backbone.
We are talking about nearly $500 million a year. That money keeps antiretroviral treatments available for millions of people.
So threatening to pull that is the diplomatic equivalent of holding a gun to the country's head. You pull that funding, the healthcare system collapses, and people die.
It is the nuclear option of humanitarian aid. I mean, it is almost never used as leverage like this.
And why? What's the reason for the threat?
A new land expropriation law that South Africa just signed. The Trump administration views it as an attack on property rights, specifically targeting white farmers.
Which is a heavy charge. But here is the part that really stood out to me in the reports. When this threat landed, when the heat turned up, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa didn't call the Secretary of State.
Nope.
He didn't call the U.S. ambassador. Who did he call?
He called Elon Musk. Ramaphosa's own spokesperson confirmed it. They initiated a direct line to Musk to try and, smooth things over.
That's wild. It implies Musk is acting as a sort of shadow diplomat. I know he's lighting the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, in the new administration, but foreign policy, is that actually in his remit?
Well, on paper, no. DOGE is supposed to be about cutting federal waste, slashing budgets, firing bureaucrats.
Right.
But in reality, Musk has become the gatekeeper. He has the ear of the president, and perhaps more importantly, he has a very personal, very specific history with South Africa.
And that is what we need to figure out today, because looking at this from a policy angle only gets us so far. To understand why the U.S. is threatening HIV funding over a land law, and why Musk is the guy taking the call, we have to look at the man himself.
You can't separate this geopolitical flex from Musk's childhood. We have to go back to Pretoria in the 1980s, the tweets he sends today about white genocide, the fight over Starlink. It is all rooted in this traumatic, complex history that he is effectively relitigating on the world stage.
So let's start with the spark. The thing that really set this current firestorm in motion wasn't the land law itself, was it? It was a tweet.
Yeah, it's usually a tweet. Musk posted that a major South African political party, the EFF, is actively promoting white genocide.
White genocide. I mean, that is a loaded term. That's not just criticism. That's an accusation of crimes against humanity.
Extremely loaded. It's specific conspiracy theory that posits there is a coordinated effort to wipe out the white population in South Africa.
And what prompted it?
He was responding to a video of Julius Malema. Malema is the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF. He's a firebrand populist. And in the video, he's chanting a song.
A song called Dubul Ibrunu.
Right.
Which translates to...
Kill the boer or kill the farmer.
Okay, hold on. I want to be fair here. If I see a video of a political leader chanting kill the farmer in a stadium full of people and they're doing gun gestures, I can see why Musk, or like anyone, would interpret that as a literal call to violence. It sounds terrifying.
On the surface, absolutely. It looks visceral and violent. But this is where the context from our Al Jazeera source becomes so crucial. This isn't some new song Malema wrote last week to incite a riot.
Right.
It is an anti-apartheid struggle song from the 1980s.
So it's historical, like singing a war anthem or a revolutionary song.
Precisely. Boer literally means farmer, but in the context of the struggle against apartheid, it it represented a system of white minority rule.
So it's symbolic.
Well, the South African courts, specifically the Equality Court and the Supreme Court of Appeals, have actually ruled on this exact song.
And what did they say? Is it hate speech?
They ruled it is not hate speech. They classified it as political rhetoric. Their argument is that the lyrics are metaphorical about dismantling the system of oppression, not literally shooting individuals in 2026.
That seems like a very fine legal line to walk. I mean, metaphors are great, but kill the farmer is pretty specific.
It is, and it's a line that doesn't translate well on X. Malema uses the song to outflank the ruling party, the ANC, from the left. He wants to look like the real revolutionary.
But when Musk sees it...
He doesn't see historical metaphor. He sees a literal threat to people who look like him.
But is there actual violence? I mean, Musk and Trump are using the word genocide. Do the numbers back that up? Because genocide has a very specific meaning.
This is where we have to look at the hard data. So we get statistics from the Transvaal Agricultural Union. Now, it's important to note this is a group very sympathetic to white farmers.
Okay.
Even by their count, about 60 farmers are killed annually in farm attacks.
60. Now, every single one of those is a tragedy. I don't want to minimize murder. But you have to place it in context. South Africa sees roughly, 19,000 to 20,000 murders a year?
So statistically, farmers aren't being targeted at a rate that suggests genocide.
Correct. They are actually killed at a rate slightly lower than the national average. In fact, even AfriForum, an Afrikaner rights group that lobbies heavily in the U.S., has historically tried to distance itself from the white genocide label.
Why?
They know it sounds like disinformation. It damages their credibility.
So the actual rights groups in South Africa are saying, don't call it genocide, but Musk is saying it is genocide, and now U.S. foreign policy is based on Musk's version.
That is the power dynamic. Musk is taking the most extreme interpretation of his home country's politics and amplifying it to the White House. And that amplification is now threatening the health funding for millions.
It's incredible. But it's not just about culture wars, is it? There's a business angle here, too. We have to talk about Starlink. Always follow the money. Musk has been trying to launch Starlink, his satellite internet service in South Africa, for years. But he's been blocked.
I remember him tweeting about this. He accused South Africa of having racist ownership laws. What was he referring to?
He's talking about BE, Black Economic Empowerment.
Break that down for us. What is BE?
It's a policy framework designed to address the economic legacy of apartheid. Basically, because black people were locked out of the economy for decades, the government requires companies to meet certain targets.
For licenses and things.
Right. For a telecom license, you generally need to be 30% owned by historically disadvantaged groups.
So to switch on Starlink, Musk would have had to sell 30% of the South African subsidiary to black investors.
Exactly. And Musk, he doesn't share. He refused to dilute his ownership.
Yeah.
He called the law racist and refused to comply. So it was a stalemate.
And here is the breaking news from our source at Drive Tesla Canada that stalemate just broke.
It did. Just this month, February 2026, the South African government blinked.
What changed? Did Musk cave?
No, the government did. The pressure worked. The Minister of Communications issued a new notice. They are now allowing something called equity equivalent investment programs.
That sounds like corporate speak for a loophole.
It is a massive compromise.
Yeah.
Instead of selling 30% of the company, SpaceX can now just invest money into the country. The proposal is they'll invest 500 million rand to connect 5,000 rural schools to the internet.
So Musk wins. He keeps 100% ownership, he gets his license, and he gets to look like the hero connecting rural schools.
And the timing is, let's say, suspicious, right? This happens exactly while Ramaphosa is trying to appease Musk and Trump. It suggests Musk is effectively reshaping South African regulations to fit his business model.
That is a level of influence that usually belongs to superpowers, not CEOs. But let's pivot. We've talked about the policy and the business. To understand the psychology of this, we have to talk about the emeralds.
Ah, the emerald mine, the myth.
It is the most persistent rumor about Musk. Did he or didn't he grow up with emeralds in his pocket? Because I feel like I hear two completely different stories.
You do, because you have two narrators who hate each other. Elon and his father, Elon Musk.
Let's hear Errol's version first. That's the one that goes viral.
So Elon